Okay, first thing you're going to do is grab yourself a good training knife. It can be a rubber training knife. It can be a metal training knife with a flat blade. But you always want to remember, never use a live sharp blade when you're doing these drills and exercises. Remember, the only way you can go up against somebody with a knife is if you know how the knife works. You can't be a knife fighter if you don't understand knife fighting. If you don't know everything that a blade can do, there's no way you can defend yourself against it. I don't care what all these so-called tactical knife fighting experts are saying. If you don't understand the blade, you cannot go against the blade. Remember, the Filipino martial arts have been around for hundreds of years. These are battle-proven arts. These are the best blade fighting systems that there are in existence. So keep that in mind when you're training on these techniques. Two types of knives we're going to talk about. We have the long blade, which is usually a fixed blade, and the short blade, which is usually a folder. Now naturally, there's really long folding knives and really short fixed knives, but we'll deal with that later. Okay, with the long blade, since it's longer, there's more leverage, there's more margin for error, there's more to deal with. To strip it, to feed it back, and take the knife away and keep it. Okay, the next type of knife is a shorter blade, like a folding knife or a box cutter, a balisong. With the shorter knife, I prefer to either feed it back into the opponent or do some type of a quick break. There's a lot less margin for error, it's harder to strip, it's a lot harder to take away. So we either feed it back in or we try and do some of a quick break. Okay, now we want to talk about the two types of grips we have with the knife. The one is the forward grip. In the forward grip, since it's pointing towards your opponent, you have a lot more reach, you have a lot more range. You can keep him out here, you can slash, you can stab. It's basically staying out to mid to long range. Second grip is the reverse grip. The blade isn't pointing at your opponent, it's basically pointing behind you. So we use this grip when we're fighting in close. We can use this for locking, different types of throws and chokes, but basically for close range fighting. Okay, next thing I'd like to do is do some angles of attack with you. Now there's hundreds of numbering systems, and I don't want to get hung up on any particular numbering system, so I'm just going to show you a lot of different ways that you can move the knife around. First thing is we want to have a downward figure eight, an angle 1 and angle 2. So it's a downward figure eight like this. The next thing is an angle 3 to an angle 4. This is a horizontal figure eight. We can have an upward figure eight like this. We can start up here and we can do figure eights down the body and then coming up. Next thing is a thrust horizontally to the face. We have a horizontal thrust coming on the backhand side. So we have this way, we have this way. We have the thrust in straight. Now, you can thrust in on any angle, you can slash in on any angle. So we don't want to get hung up on number systems. Next combination I want to do is I want to give you what we call the U. The U is a thrust to a slash to a thrust. Slash, thrust, slash, thrust. Just like that. So you can practice in front of a mirror, practice in front of a heavy bag, and you can just work different angles, different slashing, different thrusting, moving the knife around, just trying to get familiar with the different ways that the knife can go. Remember, the only way you can go against somebody who has a knife against you is if you know how to go with a knife. If you don't know how to use the knife, you'll never be able to fight somebody who has a knife. In long range, you want to stay far enough away that you can only deal with the weapon hand. You're not close enough to the body, you're only close enough to cut his arm. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to meet the attack head on. When Vic comes in with the 1, I want to step back and slash the arm. I want to step back and slash the arm, and the arm. Neither one of us are close enough to touch the body, only the limb. So one more time, when he comes at me, I step back and I cut. I step back and I cut, and I cut. The next technique we're going to do is instead of meeting the attack head on, I'm going to let the attack pass by me, and I'm going to cut it as it's going past. So when Vic comes in with the 1, I cut it with the 2. I come in that way, and this way. One more time. When he comes in, I come that way, I cut it that way. I come out that way. So I'm allowing the attack to keep going on. Now that we covered long range, we're going to get into mid-range. The thing about mid-range is you're going to need to use your checking hand. In mid-range, when he comes in with the 1, I'm so close that I can't just cut it because it's not going to be enough. The knife is going to follow through and cut me. So when Vic comes in with the angle 1, I slash and then I cover with my checking hand. Now I can follow up, do whatever I want after here. When he comes in with the angle 2, I have to slash and cover. See how I can come in, work the limb this way. With the angle 3, I slash and I cover with my checking hand. When the angle 4 comes, I have to do the same thing and use this checking hand, because if I don't use the checking hand, I'm so close that I'm going to get cut. Even though I cut him, he's going to have enough momentum to come in and get me. The first angle is the slash and cover off the angle 1. One more time, I slash and I cover. This is off the angle 1. Off the angle 2, I slash and I cover. On angle 3, I slash and I cover. On angle 4, I slash and I cover. When he comes in with the angle 5, I slash and I cover. Okay, now that we got that down, the next thing we're going to do is what we refer to as a bicidario. A bicidario means basically the ABCs. What we're going to do is I'm going to have him attack me, I'm going to answer his attack, and then I'm going to follow up. And we're going to do that through the first 5 angles. So when Vic comes out, when he comes in with the 1, I slash and cover, and I work my combinations. When the 2 comes in, I come out, and I work my combinations. Angle 3, I just come in, work some combinations. Angle 4, I just work some combinations. Angle 5 comes in, and I work that. So one more time. So angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, and angle 5. Okay, so the first method we just did was slashing the arm and then attacking the body. In one system of Kali, they call that defanging the snake, that if you kill the arm, your opponent is unable to fight you anymore. The next thing we're going to do is bypassing the arm and going straight to the body now. So when Vic comes in with the 1, I slash right at the body when he comes in. When angle 2 comes in, I go straight to the body and I bypass the arm. When angle 3 comes, I go right to the body. Angle 4, I go right to the body. So we'll do that one more time. With the angle 1, I go to the body. Angle 2, I can go to the body. On angle 3, I go right to the body. And angle 4, I go right to his body, bypassing the arm. We'll do some of the same things where we pass and we go to the body. So the angle 1 comes, and we do that. The angle 2, we go to the body, we follow up. Angle 3, we go to the body, we follow up. Angle 4, angle 5 comes in, and we do that. So the next thing we can do is we can just mix it up. When he feeds in, sometimes I come in like this. He can come in, I can do this. I can meet the attack. I can pass the attack. And we can just mix up the training that way. The next thing I'm going to teach you guys is the concept of flowing. What we're going to do is a basic drill we call Sombrada. It's going to go 1 for 1 for 1 for 1. So we bring out Vic. When Vic comes in with the angle 1, I slash his arm and I come back at him. He's going to slash my arm and he's going to come back at me. So I'm going to slash his arm and I'm going to come back at him. He's going to come in at me, I'm going to slash, then I come at him. And he comes back at me. Then I come at him. I come at him. So what you want to do is you want to get to the point where you're improvising and you're working the concept of flowing and you're getting used to any angle that comes at you. So we just go back and forth. He slashes, he attacks, I slash, I attack, and we just keep going back and forth. We're not sparring. We're cooperating with each other because we want to learn these different lines of attack. This next drill we're going to do is called slash and cover. One person's going to be in the forward grip, one person's going to be in the reverse grip. The person in the forward grip is doing all the feeding. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the drill that we learned earlier on in this DVD, is the U drill. Now I'd like to bring out Vic in the reverse grip. When I come in with the thrust, he's going to slash and cover, and he's going to feed it back at my neck. I'm going to block that, and I'm going to slash. He's going to slash and cover my arm, and then feed it back at me. And here's my next slash. So you see that I'm working the U drill, and he's doing a slash and cover against each attack. Slash and cover, I cut. Slash and cover, he feeds it back. Slash and cover, he feeds it back, I slash. And we just go back and forth like this. Now this is against the first high angle, the angle 6 and the angle 7 against the head. Okay, once you get this down, you practice it for a little bit, we're going to work the next two angles, which is the 3, the 4, and the 5. When I come in across, he slashes and he feeds it low. I block. He slashes and he feeds it back low. Then I block. I come in with the 5. He slashes and he feeds it low. I come this way. He feeds it low. So go 1 here, like this, like this, like this. So now we're working the 3 low shots. The backhand, the thrust, the angle 3. These are the slash and cover on the low line. I'm going to mix the high, and we're going to mix the low, and we're going to make it into another free flow like we did with the Sombrada drills. I come high, I come low. Whatever I do, he's going to answer my attack. And this is how we just mix it up on the high line, on the low line, back up high, next one is low. We'll slow it down a little bit, slash and cover, slash and cover. This is the high line, the low line. We go high, we go low. I can do the backhand to a thrust, a backhand to a thrust. I come with the forehand, the backhand. You want to mix these up. You want to improvise it. You never want to do the same thing twice. And this way you're working reflexes, you're working lines of attack, you're learning how to fit in with an opponent, and you're learning how to get used to anything coming at you from any angle with the blade. Pallasut is the inside ride. It's a scooping motion. There's 3 ways we can do it. We can do it in the forward grip, we can do it in the reverse grip, we can do it empty hand. So I bring on Vic. When Vic comes in with the angle 1, I can Pallasut out this way, scooping it with this hand. One more time. I can slash at him and I scoop it this way. The second way I can do it is with the reverse grip, is I scoop it with my hand. We can go into disarms, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So one more time is the reverse grip, I scoop. And then lastly, we can scoop with the empty hand. When it comes in, I can come out like that. But we'll get into that in the empty hand portion of the DVD. Okay, the first drill I'd like to do is called Pallasut. It's going to be Pallasut slash and cover. When I come in with the first thrust, and we're still working off of that U drill now, he's going to Pallasut that hand and feed it low. I'm going to block it low, and then when I feed it high, he's going to slash and cover and come back at me. I'm going to block it. So he's going to go Pallasut, slash low, slash and cover. We do it again. Pallasut, come low, slash and cover, he feeds it back. Pallasut, low, slash and cover, feeds it back. Okay, now we're going to take what we just learned, the Pallasut slash and cover, and we're going to add what we did before, adding the other angles to it. So when Vic comes in, he Pallasuts, comes low, But now instead of feeding the 1 again, maybe I'll come in with the low thrust. So we Pallasut, slash and cover. I come with a 3. So we're mixing up the different angles that we did on the other drill. I come low, Pallasut, I come high, slash and cover, Pallasut, slash and cover, slash and cover, slash and cover, Pallasut, slash and cover, Pallasut, Pallasut, slash and cover, slash and cover, slash and cover, Pallasut, slash and cover, and this is how we just free flow and we mix up what we've done before. So now instead of having an amalgam of drills, you're learning how you can flow back and forth with an opponent and working all the lines of attack that we call line familiarization, reflexes, sensitivity, and just being familiar with having a blade in your hand. All right, the next drill we'd like to do, we refer to as the Pallasut drill. It's a little different than the Pallasut slash and cover, and we're going to add this to the repertoire. Bring out Vic. First thing I do is I thrust and he Pallasuts, comes in low. I block that and I come high. Now, instead of blocking on the inside when he comes around, I pass it on the outside and I slash his hand. He's going to break the grip and we're going to do it again. So it's Pallasut, low stab, slash and cover, I slash, he breaks. So we go through this a couple of times. This is what we call the Pallasut drill. Okay, what we'd like to do now is, now that we got these flow drills and we got them down pat, hopefully, we're going to do some locks, some takedowns, some throws out of the drills. The whole idea of doing things out of the flow is you're not really sure when you're going to do it. Your opponent's not really sure when it's going to be done. So it's a lot more real and a lot more alive than having him just come at you and you do a technique. So we're going to start to do these things out of the flow drill. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to the slash and cover. We'll bring out Vic. We'll go through the slash and cover just once. Slash and cover, he feeds. Slash and cover, he feeds. Right? So the first thing we're going to do is when he slash and covers, I'm going to disarm the knife and I'm going to take it down. Okay, we're going to go back into the slash and cover drill and we're going to do a takedown from one of the other angles. So let's bring on Vic. Slash and cover, slash and cover, slash and cover. When he comes in, we're going to catch that right under there. We're going to put the knife right inside on the femoral and we're going to take him down from there. From here, we can just use our leg as a brace and we can break the arm. Okay, let's do that one more time. Slash and cover, slash and cover, slash and cover. We catch it, we stick him down, and then we're going to break the arm. Okay, I'm going to give you another technique to do, another lock to do out of this drill. Let's bring in Vic. The slash and cover, slash and cover, slash and cover, slash and cover. Now here I come over the arm and I come up under like this. Slash and cover, slash and cover, slash and cover, slash and cover. I slash, I come over, and I come in this way. Okay, I just gave you a couple of techniques to do for the guy who's speeding, who's using the forward grip. Now I'm going to give you a couple of techniques you could do for the guy who's answering in the reverse grip. So we bring on Vic. He comes in with the first one. I slash and cover. I slash and cover here. I slash and cover here. And now I'm going to come around and I'm going to do the lock we just did before. Let's do that one more time. This is the lock for the guy in the reverse grip. Slash and cover. slash and cover. I slash and cover, I come across, and I do my lock. Okay, now we'll do a locking technique for the other angle. We bring in Vic. Slash and cover, I come here, slash and cover. From here, when I slash and cover, I'm going to hook that. I'm going to take the knife, and I'm just going to kind of feed it back out of politeness, right in there like that. Okay, let's try another lock and a takedown out of this drill. We bring on Vic. Slash and cover, slash and cover. Strip the knife, come in here, take them down, switch to this position, and we can stab this way. All right, let's try that one more time. Slash and cover, strip the knife, come in here, take them down, switch hands, and then we can lock this way. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back into the free flow, and every now and then I'm just going to throw something in. I'm not really sure when I'm going to do it. I have to kind of feel it, if it's there, if it's not there, so I really don't know what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it. So let's bring on Vic, and we're just going to free flow, slash and cover, slash and cover. We take them down. Is we're going to go into the Pallasut drill, and I'm going to show you some locks and some disarms and some takedowns that we can do out of the reverse grip with the Pallasut. So we bring on Vic, comes in with the one, I Pallasut, I come here, and we just go through this drill, we just cycle it once or twice. From here, I'm going to slash across, disarm that, we'll come in here and we'll take them down. Let's do that one more time. Disarm and a takedown from the Pallasut. Here. Here. I slash across the bicep. I shoot them up. I come in here and I take them down. Switch hands and I have them in this position. Okay, let's do another disarm and another takedown out of the Pallasut drill. Let's bring Vic back on. Pallasut. I come low. I come high. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to strip the knife, I'm going to come across the neck, and I'm going to bring him into a knee. After I do the knee, I can come into a lock like this. I can take him down this way. Okay, let's try that one more time. Vic comes in, I Pallasut, I come low, comes high, I strip, I slash, I come in with the knee, and then we go into the takedown from here. Okay, so hopefully we have down all that material. What we're going to do now is we're going to do some double dagger basics. The double daggers are really good. They're going to coordinate both hands, and they're going to help you a lot when you learn to go empty hand versus the knife, which we're going to do later on in this DVD. Let's bring out Vic. The first basic we're going to do is when the angle one comes in, we're going to hack the arm, we're going to ride outside, and we're going to stab with the right hand. We'll do that one more time. We hack with the blade, we come across this way, and we stab. So now on the left side, I hack with the blade, I ride, and I stab. So we just work this going left, right, left, right, left, right. So when he comes in, I hack, I ride, and I stab. I hack, I ride, I stab. Go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is your first double dagger basic. The second double dagger basic we're going to do is I'm going to hack, I'm going to ride, and I'm going to stab with the left hand instead of the right hand. So now we hack, we ride, and we stab. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The next basic I want to do is the Pallasut, and it's the same Pallasut that we covered previously in the other drills, except this time we're doing it in the forward grip and not the reverse grip. When he comes in with the 1, I Pallasut, and I stab left. He comes in, I Pallasut, and I stab left. So we come in here, and I Pallasut, Pallasut and stab, Pallasut and stab. Come in again, I Pallasut and I stab with the same hand, I Pallasut and stab with the same hand. I Pallasut and stab with the other hand, I Pallasut and stab with the other hand. So we're going to take the 3 basics and we're going to mix them up. I hack, I ride, I stab, I hack, I ride, and I stab. I hack, I ride, the same side stabs, hack and ride, same side. I Pallasut and stab, I Pallasut and stab. I Pallasut and stab, Pallasut and stab that way. So I can come in like this, I can mix it up and do that. Pallasut, other hand stabs, hack, ride, and stab. Hack, ride, and stab. Hack, ride, and stab. Pallasut and stab. Pallasut and stab. When we do the Pallasut, you notice when I Pallasut this way, his other hand can come back up. So I have to scoop it that way and then come back down and stab. So with the other hand, I Pallasut, but it comes back up. So I have to take it with that hand now. And now I come in and stab. So I Pallasut, I re-Pallasut that way, and I come back. I Pallasut, I come up that way, and then I come in this way. So we mix up all the basics we did. I hack, I ride, I stab. I Pallasut, he comes back up, I come in this way. I hack, I ride, same side stab. I hack, I ride, and say his hand comes back up that way. Now his hand comes back up again. See, I keep Pallasutting. So when that hand comes, I Pallasut, and I Pallasut again. And now I stab. I Pallasut, and I Pallasut one more time. See, I come back out, and now I stab. So he comes high, I hack, I ride, I'm here. I Pallasut, he comes up, I stab. He comes in with the other hand, I hack, I ride, I stab. I hack, I ride, I stab. Let's say that hand comes back up, I have to retake that. Now I can retake it that way and come in and stab. Let's cover the angles on the low line. Let's bring out Vic. When he comes in with the low stab, I'm going to block with the knife and I'm going to stab. He's going to come in with the next shot. I block and I stab. One more time. I block and I stab. I block and I stab. So we're going to mix up the high and the low. He comes in with the first shot. I hack, I ride, and I stab. The next shot is low. So I block and I re-stab. Say he comes in low again. I block and I stab. The next one is high. So I can hack, I can ride, and I can stab. The next one is low. So I block and I stab. Now let's say this hand comes back up at me. So I can Pallasut that. I can Pallasut it again, and then I stab. The next one is low, so I block and I stab. What I want to do now is when he comes in and thrusts, instead of doing a block and a stab, he's going to come in and I'm just going to stab with the same side hand. The next thrust comes, I stab like that. One more time, he thrusts low, I come over the top and I stab. He comes in low, I come over the top and I stab. So now we mix them up. He comes in high, I come this way, he comes in low, I come that way, he comes high, I come out like this, I come out like that, he comes back, see I come this way, I go to stab. The hand comes up again, and then I stab. Low hand comes in, I stab. Next one comes in, and then I stab. We're going to do some basic disarms and takeaways using the double dagger. Now, like I was telling you earlier in the tape, it's a lot easier to disarm a longer blade than a shorter blade. So we bring out Vic, and we're going to give him the long blades. Now, the first one, he's going to thrust in low. I'm going to block and stab. I'm going to take his hand like this, and I'm going to shirk the blade out. The second one comes in, I'm going to strip and stab. I'm going to take his hand, and I'm going to strip the blade out. The next thing I'd like to do for the low angles is this, to bring on Vic. What we just did before is when the thrust came in, I blocked it and I stabbed, and then I did my stripping. What we're going to do now is when he thrusts in, I'm going to come over the top and stab. Then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to strip it out like we did before. The next one comes, I come over the top and I thrust, I take it and I strip that out. Okay, we do that one more time. When he thrusts in, I come over the top, I strip, I come over the top, and I strip. Okay, now that we did some disarms and strips on the low angles, let's do some disarms and strips on the high angles. We'll bring in Vic. I hack, I ride, I'm going to take his arm and strip it like that. I hack, I ride, I take the wrist, I strip. Let's do that one more time. I hack, I ride, I strip. I hack, I ride, then I strip. Okay, another thing we can do is we can strip it off the Pallasut. When he comes in, I Pallasut, I take it and I strip it like that. I Pallasut, I take it and I strip it out like that. Okay, let's do that one more time. When he comes in with the one, I Pallasut, I take the arm, I strip the knife, I Pallasut, I take it and I strip the knife out. Okay, so now what we'll do is we did previously in all the other drills, we're going to do a little free flow. He's going to throw in whatever he wants, and when I'm ready, I'm just going to fit in one of the strips off one of the different angles. So we bring in Vic. So I hack, I come in, I stab low, I Pallasut, I stab low, I come this way, I come in here, I strip that. I come out this way, and I strip that. Okay, so we do it out of a little free flow. I hack, I ride, I stab, I come over the top, I do this, I Pallasut, I take the arm, I strip it out, I come out that way, I take it, and I strip it out. So out of a free flow, I come in this way, I come in, I stab, I come out, I stab, here, I come out this way, I come out here, I take it, I strip that out, I come in that way, I come in here, and I strip it out. Okay, the next thing I'd like to do with the double daggers is do the Sombrada flow that we did before with the single dagger. Now we're going to do it with the double dagger. It's basically the same type of flow, except instead of using a checking hand, you have a knife in your other hand for cutting. Now, these are really going to improve your coordination. They're going to make your empty hands better. They're going to make your single dagger skills better, because most people aren't used to having something in each hand. So it's going to seem kind of confusing and awkward at the beginning, but the more you practice it, the better you'll get. So let's bring out Vic. We start out real slow. I'm going to feed an angle. He's going to slash and cover. I slash and cover, slash and cover. So I'm using the two daggers basically just how I would use a single dagger. Slow that down, slash and cover. And you just work the free flowing out of this, and you get used to moving around. You don't know what your partner's going to do. He doesn't know what I'm going to do. So we just move around, and you get used to the whole concept of flowing. Okay, the next thing we're going to do with the double daggers is going empty hand versus the double daggers. We bring out Vic. First combinations we're going to work are a 1 and a 5, 2 and a 5, a 3 and a 5, a 4 and a 5, and a 5 and a 5. And you can mix those up and you can jumble them around, but we're going to get the basic idea covered right now. When the angle 1 comes in, I I come across like that, I keep the knife. When the 5 comes, I block and I stab, and I keep the knife. Now I have both knives. Do that one more time. The angle 1 comes, I come across, I keep the knife. When the 5 comes, I stab, and I strip the knife. Another thing to do when he comes with the angle 1 is I come this way to the eyes, I keep the knife. When it comes in, I hit, and I strip the knife. Okay, I do that one more time. When he comes in with the 1, I block and I hit, I strip the knife. When he comes in with the 5, I block and I hit, strip the knife. Okay, the next one we'll do is when he comes in with the 1, I Pallasut, I keep the knife. When he comes in with the 5, I block over the top like this, I strip the knife. We'll do that one again. When he comes in with the 1, I Pallasut, I strip the knife. When he comes in with the thrust, I block like that, I strip the knife. Okay, now we'll do a couple from the angle 2. The angle 2 comes in, we come into the eyes, we keep the knife. He comes in, I block and I thrust, and I keep the knife. We'll do that again. From the angle 2, I block and I thrust the eyes, I take the knife, I block and I stab, and then I strip the knife. Okay, next thing from the angle 2 is I block and I hit. I come out that way, he comes in with the, see how I come out and I thrust in that way, and I can strip the knife that way. Do that again from the angle 2. I come out, I strip the knife. When the 5 comes, I come out that way and stab, and then I strip the knife. Now from the angle 3, when he comes in, I block and I hit the throat, I strip the knife. When the 5 comes, I come over the top, and I strip the knife. We'll do that again, the angle 3, I block, I take the knife out this way now. When he comes in, I come into the face, and I strip the knife. One more time, he comes in, I'm here like this, I strip the knife in this hand, I come over the top, and I strip the knife. Okay, now when he comes in with the angle 4, see how I block and I go in, I can keep the knife. When he comes in, I block and I stab, and I can keep the knife. When the angle 4 comes in, I can strip the knife, I can go into the face, and now I can keep the knife. So you can either keep it or you can strip it. One more thing we can do when he comes in with the 4, I can block and I can hit, I can keep the knife, I come out and I hit, and I can feed that back into him, then I can take the knife. He can come in with the 4, I can block and hit, I can feed that one back, then keep that. I can block and hit, feed that back, and then take that one. So on any of these disarms, you can keep it, you can feed it back, or you can strip it. So mix it up while you're training and try and get all of them so you can work every possible variation of the empty hand versus the double dagger. Okay, great. Let's do some empty hand versus the knife. Now, the empty hand versus the knife is going to be a combination of everything we did previously. It's a combination of all your reverse grip techniques, your straight grip techniques, and all the different flow drills, and it's all combined. Now, if you really get that down, you'll be able to have an idea of how to go empty hand versus the knife. Now, if it happens in the street, it's not going to be a pretty thing. You might just as well get cut. But it's better to have a little knowledge than to go in and not know anything. Okay, let's bring in Vic. When the angle 1 comes in, I Pallasut, I take the knife, I slash across the bicep, and I take him down and change arms, come in here like we did before. Let's do that one more time. The knife comes, I Pallasut, I strip the knife, we take him down. We come in here. The next thing we like to do against the angle 1 is when the 1 comes in, we block, we go straight into the eyes. We strip the knife out, and we take him down. We do that one more time. When he comes in, I go into the face, I strip the knife, and we do the takedown. Okay, now for the angle 2. When the angle 2 comes in, we can block that and go for the eyes, feed the knife back, strip the knife, and step under here and take it down. Okay, let's do this one again. When the knife comes in, we go into the eyes, we feed it back, we strip it out, and we take them down. Okay, I'm going to give you guys another empty hand technique versus the angle 2. Bring on Vic. The angle 2 comes in, we block, we go into the eyes, we feed the knife back in, we strip the knife out this way, we can go into the come along lock like this. Let me do that one more time. The angle 2 comes in, we block, we go into the eyes, we feed it back, we strip the knife, and we come into the come along. The angle 3 comes in, we want to block and hit. So when he gives me the angle 3, at the same time we block, we go into the throat. I can take the knife and strip it out that way. We can come in here, and we can take him down like we did before. Let's do that one more time. When he comes in, I come into the throat. I strip the knife that way and go into the body, and I take him down. Okay, well, the angle 4, when he comes in with the angle 4, I can just stop that and go into the throat. One more time, we're in the same position again. Now, if you can do the same couple of things from every position, it's better than having to learn a lot of different locks. So bring Vic here. When Vic comes in with the 1, I come out, I strip, and I take him down like this. Okay, now, when Vic comes in with the angle 2, and I come like this, I can do the same thing from the angle 2. Take him down like that. When he comes in with the angle 3, I can come in, strip the knife out, and take him down again, the same exact way. When he comes in with the angle 4, I can come in this way, keep the knife, and take him down again. Well, for the angle 5, I block that going to the throat. I strip the knife, I can stab and take him down. Again, the same exact way. So you can take one takedown and one strip and do it from every single angle, and that simplifies it. The simpler the better. You don't have to memorize a lot of things. You can just take 1 or 2 things and make them work from any possible angle. Okay, now that we did the forward grip versus empty hand, I'd like to give you some techniques for the reverse grip versus empty hand. Let's bring on Vic. When he slashes at your face, you move out of the way and you hit. You can strip the knife out, go into an arm bar with the knife in its midsection. Do that one more time. When it comes in, move out of the way, block and hit, strip the knife, and then arm wrench with the knife in its midsection. Okay, you notice a lot of these with the reverse grip versus empty hands, but practically the same thing as when he's in the forward grip. We'll bring out Vic again. When he comes in with the backhand stab, you notice we can do the same thing. We block and we go into the eyes, we strip the knife, we come in here like this. When he comes in, we block, we go into the eyes, we strip out the knife, and we wrench the arm with the knife in his midsection. Okay, next technique is when he comes in angle 1 with the point, is we block and we do this. We strip the knife out, and we can put him in his midsection like this, applying the arm lock. One more time, in the end, I come in and hit, I strip the knife out, and I put him in the arm lock right like this. Okay, the next angle, we'll bring him Vic, will be the downward with the point. Is I pass that and I hit, I strip the knife out, and I go right back into the arm wrench with the knife in his midsection. We'll do that one more time. He comes down, I pass and I hit, I strip out the knife, and then I arm wrench with the knife in his midsection.